Hey guys, we're gonna start uncovering the entirety of Reverse1999's storyline, starting off with the first 8 chapters of Reverse1999's main story. We're gonna speedrun this. There's gonna be this video, followed by like 2 more videos that gonna be around 10 minutes long each, because there is a whole bunch of filler in this story. I will give you an example later on in this video as to what exactly I mean by that. But now let's start uncovering setting and synopsis first. We have to talk about some facts about the world that this story takes place in. There are 3 major bits of information that we have to be aware of. So let's start off talking about the number 1 thing, the first thing, which is there is a form of magic called Arcanum. Not everyone is able to use Arcanum though. This is granted as a blessing or a curse, depending on how you want to look at it, by nature to certain individuals. And that is something that actually splits society. Individuals who cannot use Arcanum are simply referred to as human, but individuals that are able to use Arcanum are referred to as Arcanists. And Arcanists are viewed by humans as a race of individuals and are often discriminated against as they are perceived as subhuman. And yeah, that's the first thing, the first kind of bit of information that we have to keep in mind moving forward. Which leads us to 2 different factions that rival each other in this world, so it's kinda good versus evil, if you will. One of those organizations or factions, however you want to call them, is the Pavlov Foundation, and those are the good guys. They are portrayed as the good guys, at least. So what this foundation is about, it's a massive public organization with several branch offices across the globe, and they seek to study and control arcanists for the benefit of humanity and to find a way to counteract the effects of the storm. That is, the storm is something that we will talk about in just a second. But then we have their counterparts. Those guys are portrayed as to be the bad guys and evil. So first of all, this is a group of extremists, and they are considered to be racists and terrorists by the Pavlov Foundation. They are led by a mysterious woman called Arcanum, and what they are trying to do is they want to exploit the storm to recreate the world without humans or mixed blood arcanists. So they basically want to cleanse the world from everyone who is not a pure arcanist. This organization is called Manus Vindictae, and it's now time to move on to the most important part in the story, in the world building at least, which is the storm. Yeah, this is already a little bit of a story in itself, so bear with me and let's get into it. On the last day of the year 1999, a mysterious phenomenon known as the storm caused different eras in time to shift back and forth between the 1900s, causing people and objects from the affected era to disappear, which is referred to as being reversed. The storm can reverse humans and arcanists, while arcanists can be sheltered from it quite easily, quote unquote quite easily, but humans require specific circumstances or places like the Pavlov Foundation to be sheltered. The storm causes something known as the storm syndrome approximately 24 hours before its arrival, causing humans to experience severe hallucinations and delusions that are directly tied to the themes relevant to the era, such as perceiving money as food, developing a strong desire for war, and so on. As a result, time does not progress beyond the year 1999, at least for now. And different eras throughout time will disappear, then later reappear in a more unstable state. There's one more thing. The speed in which the storm arrives depends on how much social unrest exists at the time. Events such as assassinations of political figures, economic recessions, and wars will increase the speed in which the storm takes effect and the severity of the storm syndrome. And that's it. Those were the 3 facts that we need to understand and know before we can actually dive into the story. Let's do a quick recap of these 3 things. So there is a magic called Arcanum. There are humans that cannot use Arcanum, no matter how much they would like to or try to learn it. It's impossible. And there are humans that are capable of using Arcanum, and this leads to a conflict in society between these 2 factions, right? The humans that cannot use magic go against the people that can use magic. Then we have 2 main factions. That is a theme of good versus evil. One faction wants to help humanity out, at least they say so, and the other one openly just wants to eradicate humanity. Then we have a mysterium called the Storm, which reverses the world's time and leads to different eras and can lead to make things unstable as a whole. And that's pretty much all about it in a nutshell. We are now ready to jump into the story, but we will do this in one of my next videos. Let me introduce you to the main character of the story already. The main character of our story will be a lady called Vertin. She's the lady to your left, on the left hand side right here. And she is referred to as the timekeeper because she is the only known person to be completely immune to the storm. She can experience the effects of the storm completely unharmed. She is on the mission with her team and works throughout different eras of time to prevent the Manus Vindictae from exploiting the storm, investigates clues as to how to prevent the storm. She is an arcanist, so she herself can use Arcanum, the magic of this world, and she is part of the Sant Pavlov Foundation. Now that's everything you have to know. That's the first bit of information. I want to make another disclaimer before we actually start off and look at the story. Because if you look here in game and you want to figure out the story, right? Then there is a whole bunch of filler. For example, here in chapter 1, when this chapter actually starts, then we meet some kids, some brats, they misbehave, they steal something from our group, and the group attempts to get that back from the kids and teaches them a life lesson, right? Or like almost the entirety of chapter 2 is also complete filler. Here you find out some stuff about the leader of the Manus Vindictae, which has nothing to do with the plot, and it doesn't help in any way to progress the plot. So another thing is to you find out here what the character Sotheby likes to eat for dinner, you know, stuff like that. I will skip this stuff completely and I will focus only on the plot, pure plot progression. Everything else I will completely skip over that, okay? So keep in mind that, chapter 2 is the best example I can give you. If you look at all of this here, this is over 2 hours long. I will tell you all about, what you have to know about chapter 2 in 3 sentences, and that will take a few seconds, 20-30 seconds. I will tell you all about chapter 2. While if you look at it, this here in game, chapter 2 is over 2 hours long, right? But nothing of this is plot progression, right? So everything that does not have a huge relevance or any relevance. So for the actual plot, I will skip over it. Keep that in mind. Moving forward, I will then be able to use actual animated footage, right? I will not have to present pictures and just talk over them anymore. So things will get a little bit more exciting. I hope this video here was still fun and informative. And if you enjoy Reverse 1999 content in general, then please consider leaving a follow. I would really appreciate that. But until next time, take care of yourselves, have a great day, and we love this game.